train engineer under arrest, accused of running a train off the tracks near the USNS Mercy on purpose.
I scoured the internet to see if I could find out why Eduardo Moreno derailed the train at Port of Los Angeles near the U.S. Navy ship Mercy, which currently is sitting in port to assist California in the fight against COVID-19. According to the official criminal complaint, Moreno is being charged with terrorism as he openly admitted to derailing the train on purpose. Moreno is alleged to have stated, "You only get this chance once. The whole world is watching. I had to. People don't know what's going on here. Now they will. At night they turn off the lights and don't let anyone in. I'm going to expose this to the world. When was the last time you went to Dodger Stadium? We might not be able to go again." Moreno stated that he was not sick, but he had been watching and putting all the pieces together. Moreno stated, "They are segregating us and it needs to be put in the open." Moreno is suspicious of the USNS Mercy and believes it had an alternative purpose related to COVID-19 or a government takeover. Moreno stated that when he came to work on March 31st, he started thinking about everything and stated, "Sometimes you just snap, and man, I was freaking excited. I just had it and I was committed." Moreno stated that he had nothing to hide and he was not working with anyone else and that no one was pushing his buttons to make him do this. He said he did it out of the desire to wake people up and believed the ship is not what they say it's for. Footage from inside the train compartment where Moreno operated the train showed him light a flare in what appeared to be an attempt to ignite fuel leaked after the collision. So what would motivate Moreno to commit such an act? A close look into Moreno's family and associates on social media might suggest street gang or Mexican cartel affiliates. We can clearly see imagery associated with Los Angeles and Long Beach Harbor street gangs, such as the Longos, as well as very specific forms of cash and precious metals commonly used for money laundering. This would make sense because the very next day, President Trump announced that the military is taking advantage of the state of emergency to go after cartels and traffickers. Previously, President Trump released a statement that the United States of America has been invaded by hundreds of thousands of people coming through Mexico and entering our country illegally. This sustained influx of illegal aliens has profound consequences on every aspect of our national life, overwhelming our schools, overcrowding our hospitals, draining our welfare system, and causing untold amounts of crime. Gang members, smugglers, human traffickers, and illegal drugs and narcotics of all kinds are pouring across our southern border and directly into our communities. Thousands of innocent lives are taken every year as a result of this lawless chaos. The day before Moreno deliberately derailed the train, Mexico blocked accounts of companies suspected of laundering money for the Sinaloa cartel, totaling nearly $80 million. One company was a registered Delaware corporation, tying laundering activities to a movie theater chain. Not surprising, given that a few years back, federal agents launched a series of raids in the Los Angeles Fashion District, seizing nearly $70 million in laundered drug profits. San Pedro, where the train wreck occurred, is a notorious location where alleged Mexican mafia members have been busted many times, as well as the Coast Guard arriving in last year after seizing 2,800 pounds of pure cocaine worth nearly $40 million. However, there may be a simpler answer. Which might be that Moreno is sympathetic to the problems illegal aliens are now facing amidst the coronavirus pandemic, which the California government never prepared for.
One subgroup won't get much help, if any at all, because they are, They're here illegally.
Many of them are undocumented immigrants. That means no unemployment benefits and no stimulus checks. His family is running out of money, and he worries they'll die of starvation before they get the virus.
The relief that the federal government has provided in response to COVID doesn't cover undocumented families.
The undocumented community is not protected in the same way when it comes to access to health care. They are fearful of their immigration status being discovered, and so they're very vulnerable at this moment.
I do know that some individuals are afraid to go to the hospital because they are afraid of just being detected.
California's reckless anti-ICE and sanctuary state policies have set California up for what is to become a horrible humanitarian crisis.
You're caught between a rock and a hard place because, one, you don't want to, be exposed to the virus.
Undocumented immigrant with the group La Resistencia and Mi Gente. Last week, they issued a call for public health inspections at the Northwest Detention Center due to the danger of coronavirus inside the facility.
Outbreaks have happened in this detention center, and the immigration service has been in lockdown, or actually shut down, for 2 weeks since March 5th. Because of an ICE employee that was exposed to the virus.
Detainees are taking action as rumors about more positive cases of COVID-19 arise.
The last time I was at Otay Mesa, none of the guards had gloves. The security officers were not practicing social distancing.
With all the liberal fake news media blaming Trump for every aspect of the coronavirus pandemic,
The coronavirus is spreading fear and discrimination.
Politicians are now working to combat racism.
There have been a lot of people who just use this fear to justify racism.
Mixed with the fear that many illegal immigrants are now facing, given that there are lockdown orders, quarantines, closures of non-essential businesses, and many of them are going to be left without any form of substitute income because they aren't eligible for unemployment benefits.
Undocumented workers don't have that luxury. They're the ones who are bearing the full weight of this crisis.
Moreno might have likely believed that the U.S. Navy ship Mercy is actually there to round up illegal immigrants with the aim of shipping them back to Mexico.
People get infected and they decide not to go because of these attacks by this administration,
I wonder where he could get such a conspiracy theory idea like that.
Okay, who here's Latino? Raise your hands. Whoa, I can't believe you fell for that. Round them up, boys.
You have a president who's called Mexicans rapists and criminals.
Trump has gotten a lot of criticism for his racist immigration policies.
And the comments are racist.
Over the weekend, the president bellied up to the bigot buffet with a bunch of racist tweets.
The American people will not tolerate this kind of hate from their president.
If we can zoom in down to his, okay, so there's the bone spur. Now, if you rotate that and you zoom in, if that isn't a racist bone in his body, well...
Saying a Mexican judge can't be fair because of his heritage is racist. Saying immigrants from Mexico are rapists is racist.
We have a president of the United States who is a racist.
And telling 4 members of this body to go home is racist.
Trump is a racist president, so...
Listen, I get wanting to look away from the issue of immigration. It's painful to witness, like a train wreck or your parents having sex on a train that's wrecking.
Regardless of your stance on immigration, California's lackadaisical attitude towards immigration reform, the use of slave labor, and the use of illegal drugs from Mexico, human and child trafficking is a case-in-point example of what the president has been trying to warn them about. Maybe if Gavin Newsom and his anti-Nancy Pelosi had worked with President Trump on proper immigration reform and other America First policies, they wouldn't now find themselves in this catch-22 situation where they have a massive unemployment crisis on their hands and millions of illegal immigrants in their country, which they have no way of getting help to while this pandemic crisis ensues. This, in my opinion, is most likely the reason why Moreno wanted to show the world what they are doing. This train wreck foreshadows just how bad things are going to get in California if people continue to vote in the Democrats, which keep on pushing these policies that don't put Americans first.
How to get banned from social media in 3, 2, 1. The big tech giants want you to stop spreading the coronavirus. Wait a minute, let me rephrase that. The big tech giants want you to stop spreading unfounded conspiracy theories rejected by the establishment mainstream media. And that means the first casualty of the coronavirus is the truth.
Aren't you interested to know what they don't want you to know? You ought to be.
It is a weapon system.
This is a violation of the Geneva Convention. This is a crime against humanity.
The WHO is up to its eyeballs in biological warfare research.
That's the whole purpose of biological warfare. And they've been caught doing it.
In the latest effort to control the narrative and prevent the outbreak of real, unbiased investigative journalism, the big tech giants are now targeting independent news outlets, or anyone for that matter, who is going against the mainstream and presenting solid evidence that the coronavirus might be a man-made biological weapon developed and manufactured in communist China.
But if you talk about any of this stuff, they'll shut you down on Twitter, on Facebook.
Now get this. Recently, YouTube announced that they were approached by Newsweek, who requested that they delete all the YouTube channels that were just flagged by Newsweek for posting videos about the coronavirus they don't want you to see. YouTube's response? Swift action, of course. They quickly deleted all the video channels flagged by Newsweek magazine as inappropriate, which included the remaining InfoWars proxy channels and the powerful conspiracy empire Natural News. Within hours, Twitter joined in on the purge and slapped down a permanent ban on Zero Hedge for publishing coronavirus conspiracy theories. We'll have none of that.
Twitter has banned the site Zero Hedge from its platform after Zero Hedge published an article that linked a Chinese scientist to the virus outbreak.
Both actions by YouTube and Twitter to delete this information and kill the messenger has been enthusiastically celebrated by the tattletale gatekeepers over at Newsweek. After all, a global pandemic of human origin, infecting tens of thousands of people, accompanied by a massive government cover-up, that's not a news story. In fact, according to Big Tech, that's Nunya.